So it's Saturday morning here in Australia. It's the 8th day of July 2023. It's about 12 degrees Celsius here outside, which is 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're running a little late with our What's Happening in July video, and we're doing it live again. We've had a lot happening over the last few months, as a lot of you would know. We're currently sitting on a new deck which was constructed over the last 4 months as an extension to Graham's home, which is where the goat shed is. That's pretty much done now. It's been completed now for about 2-3 weeks, and we've actually had a lot of work done in the actual goat shed itself. Now, most people would be aware the goat shed consists of 2 sheds, an old one from 1960s.
Oh, 52.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, even older.
Yeah.
When they made them out of proper timber.
Yeah. Someone from Nebraska just said hi. Hi, I just didn't get your name. I'll have a look in a moment. So it's quite old, and there was an old cocky shed where an old cocky used to live on the side, which later became a cubby house for
my niece.
Yeah, Graham's niece. And it's been converted into, well, it's been totally knocked down, and there's a new annex being built. So we've had new electrical work done in the shed. We've had earth leakage protection put in to the circuit. A new switchboard's been put in. All new LED lights and power points, and a new workbench has been built in the shed. So we'll show you that in a moment. Oh, and the front doors are like a American barn door, which you'll sort of have a look, you'll see in a moment, which is pretty good. So we've been doing that, and also inside there has been a new cabinet, a rubber cabinet being built, which we'll show you to keep our rubbers in. That is our...
a very skilled builder.
Yeah.
Just turned up.
Yeah, he has. So that's been done. Now, what else have we been up to? Well, all the outside of the shed's also been painted, and the roofing has been painted. So as you gather, a hell of a lot's been going on, and it's been sort of a busy first 6 months of the year. And as I said, we're now at the real tail end of that. The builder's up and off, I think, early next week.
We can start enjoying it.
Moving on to another job. Yeah. Repairs-wise, we've had come in over the last couple of weeks a Williams swinger, and the same customer brought in a Big Brave. And we'll show you we've just completed 2 videos on Big Brave if you want to go and have a look at that. And one of the videos we did, which was the last one, was on startup procedures. Now, we thought people would enjoy that, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem as popular as we expected. And I've said this many times, we don't know what videos to make for you unless you tell us, and no one really tells us what they want, so we can only make what we think you might want. So don't forget to check that out, please. And we're going to show you a really special treat on a high hand in a minute, a Gottlieb high hand. We put a post up on our Facebook page yesterday about that, and you'll see a beautiful example of a playfield. Now, what else we got going on, Graham?
We're working on another bingo machine at the moment. We've only put a couple of hours into it, but we're already ahead with that. We've had a few cancellations from machines coming in, which is okay because we've got plenty of work. The builder has been clear coating a couple of cabinets, Solar EM, and we're also halfway through doing Close Encounters EM as well. And we're doing a fast draw as well. And what else we got?
Oh, target pool.
Target pool.
We're doing a
Oh,
target
yes,
pool.
and of course lightning ball, which the builder is going to sand maybe today. We've already started it and done one side and the one side of the head because I wanted to keep a bit of the pattern, the trace of the pattern, which we've done. And it's going to be a pretty machine. And so that should be getting done, and hopefully we can present that at this year's Pinfest. But if it is ready, we're still got to have a cancellation because there's no room at Pinfest because it's got so many machines, which is amazing considering like when it first started we were struggling to get games, and now we're knocking them back. Which is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a few people. So we've got Fish On from Nebraska, which is Gary. And hello to Jeff Taylor from Michigan. So, yeah, Jeff, welcome. I was in Michigan last year. I don't know if you know Tom Taylor. We went to his facility in New Berlin, I believe it was, and a great Mexican restaurant just down the road too. Not sure if you know of that. Now, Graham and I got a little bit of a surprise through the week.
Yeah.
This is an interesting sort of thing. It's something fairly new. Anyway, it's called ANZAP. That's Australia, New Zealand. It doesn't really say something pinball. So this coming week, this coming Friday the 14th in Brisbane, which is in Queensland, we've been invited to be inducted into the Australian, New Zealand, Arcade and Pinball Hall of Fame. And that's quite an honour, quite a surprise. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it. They didn't give us much notice. But let me show you the invitation. There it is there with a picture of Spanky on it.
Unfortunately, they spelled my name wrong.
Oh, yeah, and they spelled Graham's name wrong. He's McGuinness.
Double S, yeah.
Double S, yeah. So anyone that wants to take legal action, that's how it's spelled.
That's right.
So, yeah, that's interesting.
Misspent years of youth have paid off.
Yeah. So you never know what's around the corner. We've also been getting stuff ready, even though it's early for the Pinfest here in Newcastle. That's on in September. Now, when you consider it, it's almost.
Oh, the year's getting along.
Yeah, it's almost the middle of July. Yeah. So that's not that far away, and we've got stuff we've got to prepare for that.
We've got a machine coming from Tasmania that's come to the Goat Shed first for a quick tune-up of pro football, I think it is.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
So in Tasmania, the lone state of Australia, which is, often forgotten and even often left off maps, and one can understand why.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys down there, and they've actually started to run their own pinball show. They've got one on later this month, and they're called the Tassie Pinball Mafia.
Good bunch of blokes.
A rough bunch of dudes, though, eh?
Yeah. Even Spanky keeps away from them.
So they're coming up to our Pinfest, and some people are going down to theirs. Graham and I were going to go, but
maybe next year.
Yeah, just circumstances this year.
Got so much on, especially with the renovations and everything.
Just haven't permitted it.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting. Marco Rossignoli went down last year. Everyone knows Marco, the world famous pinball author, co-authored 2 books with Graham here. And if you've not read those books, what are they called, Graham?
Pinball Perspectives and what's the other one? Pinball Snapshots. Because we were going to do the snapshot one, we were going to do a complete series of 3 books, but they decided to go with 2 and change the name because people didn't want to think that they already got the book. And so, but they turned out good. They're getting up there. I think they come out in 2004 and 2007.
And plus Mark has 2 previous books.
Yeah, well, that was Pinball Memories and the Complete Pinball Book, which is apparently the best-selling pinball book in the world.
Yeah.
Which is in its 3rd print at the moment, so it's well over well over probably 12 or 13,000 copies, which is pretty good for a pinball book.
Now, if anyone's interested in those books, you can Google the author, Rossignoli and McGuinness.
Yeah, we'll just go to Skipper Publishing.
Yeah, but I think one of them Marco mentioned, so the way to learn about them, about 2 years ago for the Chicago Pinball Show, we did a virtual show, and we did a recording on that, and it was for 2021. Yeah, so you'll hear Marco talk about the books and Graham, how they came about, how they went and did them, and
a bit about our life as well.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. So yeah, so the Outlane Pinball Sweet Baby Rays.
Yeah.
I see. So we've got a few viewers at the moment. Just before we take you down to the shed and show you, I'm just trying to think if there's something else we wanted to mention. Yeah, it'll come.
Not too much. We're doing a live stream to another bloke that's got a Showtime bingo. He just wants to have a quick look. He's got a few issues, so we just want to discuss that with him later on today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which we'd rather fix a bingo over the video call than have the guy bring it here, because they're massive to move, and we just haven't got the room anyway at the moment. So
yeah, so we're doing that at 10 a.m. our time, which is it's 25 to 9 now. So
yeah.
We asked him to give us a call. He's from the far north coast of New South Wales. So we'll have a look and we'll be able to see what's going on.
It's very hard for people to explain the problem with bingos over the phone, because they've got different terms to what we're used to, and a lot of them, they just go on and think we assume because we don't know the problem, and they try to explain it, but we'd rather see it in a video so we can see what's going on in person, sort of thing. Yeah.
We do get a lot of people send messages and stuff like that about fixing games. To be honest, sometimes we really prefer those messages to come through the Facebook group page. Now the main reason for that is that it not only helps the person who owns the machine, it helps other people, and if it's just one-on-one, I mean, it's okay, but also the time differences between the USA and Australia vary between 14 and 17 hours. So I think the East Coast, we're 14 hours ahead of, say, New York.
Yeah.
So there are other people that we have as group experts in our group, and we're looking for a few more. I know one other chap I want to add. So Rob Loring, he often pipes up and helps. And we've got, I think, Warren McCulloch, he says a fair bit. I think Warren's Canadian. Robert Loring, he's from Pennsylvania, I believe. I could be wrong there. And there's a few other guys that will help out, and they've answered the questions or tried to assist someone while we're still in bed, so just bear in mind of that time difference. Okay, morning from Ohio, and where do we get our parts from? Greetings from Canada. Our parts, our new parts we buy off Pinball Resource. We like to support Steve Young in respect of that, because he supports the hobby. We don't have any problems dealing with him. And I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he doesn't take credit card. Well, that's his method of doing business, and that's okay. We pay by transfer wise, and he still uses old-fashioned checks, I believe, as well. So your other part supplier in the USA, of course, are Marco Specialties. But anything Gottlieb, you'll be aware that Marco have to buy them off Pinball Resource. So that's the way it works. And we've got a lot of parts, which, we'll show you some when we go down in the shed in a minute.
It's in a bit of a mess, but...
Yeah, we are in a hell of a mess at the moment. We're going to sort our parts out a lot more when we can, but...
Probably start next week when everything's back to normal a bit. We can start arranging things and maybe get some more shelving in or something. Yeah, but it's an organised mess. Like if Kim says, you know, I need this, I'll go straight to it. So it's not a problem. We know where everything is. It's just, yeah, to look at.
Greetings from Iowa. Oh, no, I haven't been there. Keep the shed going. Well, we'll try. We're not getting any younger. That's one thing that I spoke about at Expo last year when we were invited by Rob Burke to speak. You know, we need more young people in this damn hobby. And if we don't get young people that want to learn how to fix pinball machines, electromechanical, it's going to die. So that, and everyone in the US agreed with me, you know, like a lot of the guys that I know over in the States, they're up there in age too. Yeah. And I guess it is a hobby that, you know, there are some younger people into it, you know, like, you know, I met a couple of young fellows over there last year. Tanner Walters, he's that pinball scientist, you know, young fella. Gabe Pribble, he's gotten into it. And another guy whose name I'm just struggling to remember. I can remember the face, I just can't remember. But, you know, they're younger guys, and that's great to see.
And I think if a young bloke nowadays, just say, you know, 30-odd, would start learning, you know, you could probably start a bit of a business out of it, full-time business, not just a hobby. Because the way it is now, there's just no one around that fixes EM machines. If they do, they struggle through, and we're pretty well the only ones that specialise in them at the moment. So we would love other people to get into it because we've got so much work, it wouldn't worry us at all.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, we're faced with it, and we are going to run another course. I don't think I've mentioned it to Graham yet, but hopefully we'll do one right at the end of August or in spring, first just after September. And we'll be able to use our new world-class training facility here. We've got a...
Yeah, we'll probably have some chicken wings on the smoker.
Yeah.
We've got the beer fridge on the go.
Yeah, we've got a beer fridge, and here's the... I buggered that up. There we go. So there's the back wall. We've got a TV, big TV there, so we can I can hook the tablet up to that, and we can do things. Illustrate. Yeah, we've got our goat there somewhere. Where is he? Oh, there he is. There's Spanky.
Yeah. He's had a big night last night.
Yeah, he went out to karaoke last night at a local veterans club, as we call them RSL clubs, Return Services League. Yeah. In America, they're VFWs and that, aren't they? Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, just getting back onto that learning and that, on a serious note, if we don't get younger people into it and learn to fix these things, it's going to be a lost art, I think. There's that many people up our way that can fix solid state games. Now, we don't do them. Graham and I don't do them. Graham used to do them with another guy years ago. Yeah. But there are that many people up here now that specialise in them, and I mean, you know, not being rude, but anyone can change a circuit board. And probably most people can repin a connector. Yeah. But electronic games, you can't see what's going on. Where they're electromechanical, you can, so it makes a big difference. But hey, I'm biased because what's this now for me? This is about 53 years of working on electromechanical stuff, all up.
Well, that's right, because I think the biggest problem is like finding the problem is the thing. Fixing it is easy.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like usually, it can take you 2 hours to find it, but 5 minutes to fix it, and that's how it is.
And, well, look at that job. We had Big Indian down in the shed there at the moment, and we're just testing it now. We've just found a few little minor things we've got to fix on it.
Which we've got to test them.
But we test games for about 2 weeks before we let the owner have them back. Yeah. But all of a sudden, you know, you've got the 3 lanes at the top that say big, and they go out when you roll over them. Well, you rolled over them and the lights wouldn't go out. They came back on. Well, that game hasn't got a trip bank in it. Like
for that,
we mentioned in the video that we did on this, and this is a really good video to have a look at for what you call a hold-on circuit. So hold-on circuits are used quite extensively in pinball machines, electric mechanical games. Like you've got them in the scoring, and you've got them in on the pop bumpers and a few other different places. Well, this one used a hold-on circuit to keep those lights on till the ball drains and a new ball kicks out. And a wire had come off in the P relay. Now, everyone knows you've got a conglomerate of wires down in all those relays, and this one had just broken off, cold solder joint, clean off. It was still sitting next to the lug, and unless you realised where it was, it'd be hard to find. But like we just said, once you find it, like it took us long to solder it back on, and that was that. And we used the schematic, and we illustrated that in the video. So, you know, if you haven't seen that or looked at that video and you want to understand how a hold-on circuit works, it's worth looking at. So, yeah, please do. Now, someone just said something there a moment ago. Who was that? Let's see. Whoops. Keep the shed going. It's invaluable. Yeah, well, we know that. Galamede. I've tried with EM, and it's a mindset that I've yet to master. Both you guys and Ron
keep at it.
in South Carolina explain it well. Yeah, well, look, that's true, Galamede. Ronnie does a good job, and they tend to fix video games and solid state games and everything like that. Yeah. And that's Joe's Classic Arcade that we're talking about there. They've got a lot of subscribers, and they've been doing it a long time. They make a lot of videos and they do a great job. And Ronnie looks at our channel too, and I look at his, and Graham looks at his, and we all learn.
Well, when I first started back in '85, of course there was no internet, and when I had a problem, I just had to learn how to fix it on my own. And I think it was good because that's the only way you're going to learn, and just keep at it. And don't. If you've got a problem and it's just annoying, just go inside and have a cup of coffee and come back 2 hours later. And by that time, you might just think about it while you're watching telly. You know, just don't give up.
Yeah, well, that's very true. So, like, there's invaluable resources out there on the internet now. And, you know, back in 1985 when Graham got his Key West bingo and it broke, he had the manual, and, you know, thankfully Bally made really good manuals on their stuff. And the bingo machines are extremely complex. And we've had 2 this year so far. We don't see many, but you've got to know how they work to be able to fix them, because if something doesn't happen, you know, and Graham knows how they work.
It got to the stage back then that sometimes I was hoping that it would break down so I could fix it and learn. Because if something wasn't working, just so you weren't getting extra balls on the game, I'd just go to the book and I'd mark down everything, got to do extra balls, just study it, and eventually you get there. And when I started doing pinball machines, I thought, this is great, you know, and nowhere near as complicated, and it just made life easier to learn off a bingo. So I didn't plan it that way, it just happened. Because my girlfriend at the time, she knew I was after a pinball machine, and we're looking through the classifieds, and she said, oh, there's one there, and I looked at it and it said pinball, and then it said bingo, and I said, oh, bingo machines. I said, oh, I'll have one of them. And then pinball went out the window there for about a year, and I just got the bingo and just started learning off that, which was probably really advantage to me. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so this is only our hobby. What was it he said there a minute ago? But Galamede said, but it's one of those things you need to eat, sleep and breathe. Yeah. Well, you do need to work on them regularly to get a good understanding of them, and that. But this is our hobby. That's exactly what it is. It's a hobby. It's not a business, and we keep reiterating that to people. People think in Australia here, if you're a business, you have to have what they call an ABN, which is an Australian business number, and you have to be registered with a mob called ASIC, the Australian Securities Investment Council or something or other. And, you know, I've been there and done that when I had my own office machine business. But this is a hobby, and we only do it
4 hours a day.
4 hours a day for 6 days a week. And that's probably, I don't know, a little bit more than we... Not as much time as we really need, but you know, we can't be fixing them all day. We've got other things in our lives we want to do. We've got our goat to look after, and all sorts of other stuff, because life would become very boring, wouldn't it? But
we don't want to make it into a job.
Yeah, and you wouldn't make any money. You couldn't employ anybody.
No.
Really, you know.
Unless you were full on.
Yeah.
You'd have to have massive shed. And the amount of times that it can fix take to fix an EM can take months just to find the problems and everything. But and these machines are 50 plus year old, and there's not the same problems they used to have back in the field. They would have been just changing flipper coils and light globes and stuff.
Yeah, it would have been a great job in 1960, running around putting flipper coils in, and there'd be no switches or anything that were really dirty. Yeah. I guess till later years, the pinball mechanics then they probably didn't even have to read a schematic, you know.
They wouldn't ever have stripped down a bloody stepper.
Stepper, no, not like we do. No. I mean, once again, you see some of the videos we've made, and there was one we did on a stepper there a couple of months ago, on a Gottlieb stepper where the nylon bearing had been squeezed in. And that caused a bind in the escapement wheel shaft.
That's a strange problem.
Yeah, I mean, how can you possibly know without pulling it apart? And there you go again, you know, once again, this big brave, we pulled the player unit apart, which we do. I know other people don't do it, and that's fine, you know, but we do, we pull it, and we find things. Now, we found we had a broken, I think someone had it apart before, but the screw, the shoulder screw that goes through with the nut on the back that holds the reset arm on actually broke off. That doesn't happen too often, but it did. And I think it had been, you could see someone had been at it before. Yeah. We had a really badly worn coil stop. It was filthy. And we had a groove in the reset arm, which was badly worn. Now, that player unit's all back together, and I don't anticipate that will give any more problems for as long as the machine's still alive. Because it's been done right. And I've said this 1,000 times, you know. I was taught as an apprentice, and most apprentices my age, when you were doing your apprenticeship, you were taught by a journeyman, and, you know, you were told, do it once, do it right. Because back in my day, you know, they could kick you up the bum and slap you across the back of the head, and you had to accept that. And it probably didn't hurt you because it made you learn a lot quicker. I don't know how many people that's listening or viewing at the moment have ever done an apprenticeship or how old you are, but that's how it used to happen.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's a fact in life. So yeah, someone else said something there a minute ago. Here we go. My EM experience, Galamede said, started on a Bally Lido bingo machine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
A bit overwhelming. Then a Chicago coin Olympic, which was easier. I'm getting a single player Gottlieb pro football. Well, we mentioned we're going to have a pro football in here soon.
Yeah.
It's coming from Tassie, yeah.
Just for a quick tune up for Pinfest.
There's Phil. That's Phil from the UK, I believe. I've been repairing EMs for 48 years.
Oh, excellent.
And still learning, but much quicker on routine faults. Self-taught, my hotline, 14th birthday present. Look, that's exactly right, Phil. And I think we all learn off each other. Most people here know that once a month I get involved with Mark Gibson's Fun with Pinball. And we do coaching clinics. Mark started doing that in COVID because people couldn't go out to people's homes and so on. And it's a video conferencing call, fixing games, and Mark engages coaches, you know, you got guys like Mark has probably got most schematics on his laptop, and he can pull the schematic up, and he's got the software to draw the lines, this yellow line goes here, and all that sort of thing. And then we get the end user to tell us the fault, and we tell them how to fix it. So, and one of the reasons I got involved with that is because I can learn stuff myself off other people. You know, these people are more experienced. I've only been doing this 9 years. Graham's been doing it 38. And when I started with Graham, often we didn't have a schematic. So we have to fix machines without a schematic.
We'd nut it out eventually.
So, you know, the whole idea is, well, how can you do that? People say, well, you've got to look what relays pulling in, or relays are pulling in when this is supposed to happen.
I just use logic.
This one and this one. Okay, let's check this one and look for a broken wire or a short out each switch. And we still do that, but I like to try and read the schematics these days, just to try and keep my end up there with reading them and learning to trace a fault. And that seems to work well.
Whereas so what happened with me is that there wasn't really any schematics around to get, so I had to learn without schematics.
Yeah, sure. And you know, you can get, like, all the Gottlieb schematics are available for purchase, of course, off PBR, but most of the Bally and Williams are still available on the Internet Pinball database, or out there on the internet, which is great, and you can get them. So it's worth trying to learn. But just getting back to those clinics, so you got guys like David Olansky. He's a volunteer at the San Francisco Pinball Museum. They're up in Alameda in California, and he's about 9 or 10 years experience, so he's quite good. And you've got, well, I mentioned Mark, of course. There's myself. There's another guy called Dave. He calls himself Dave H. He gets on the clinic. He doesn't say a hell of a lot, but he's quite experienced. And then you've got another guy on there who really has got a lot of experience behind him, and I'm just struggling to remember his name now. I had it in my head there a minute ago and I've forgotten. I'll get it out in a minute. He's really good. He was working on them since the 70s. He worked for a big arcade guy and everything like that. So he gets on there. Tim Meehan's his name, Tim Meehan. Hi, Jay Lasky. Greetings from the USA. You guys are great. I enjoy all your videos and always learn. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
That's what we're here for, to try and help. And that's what we're talking about now. Everyone should try and help each other.
It's the only way to go.
And that's our philosophy anyway. And yeah, you need to work logically, methodically. My wife says my autism helps. UK and lots of patience. How's the cricket going? I haven't heard. That's Australia and the UK are doing battle. We're at war. It's a literal war. For anyone that doesn't know, the Ashes cricket series is on now. And there was a lot of controversy in the last test, and right now all the English hate us.
They always have.
So, yeah, and that's why we run our courses, you know, like, they're basic, but, you know, people walk away. At our last course, a guy said, gee, it was worth coming here just to learn about score reels. He
was over the moon.
He struggled and he went away and fixed the machine.
He had a good time.
Yeah, so we only charge a small fee for that, and people go away with a lot of knowledge.
Morning tea and lunch is covered.
Yeah, that's right. They've had gourmet chicken wings the last courses, 2 courses.
And Spanky opens up the bar.
Yeah.
There's no grog left after Spanky's had a go.
Yeah. Oh, nearly at war. We had a better day today. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. I haven't seen it yet. I watched a little bit of it last night, and I think they were 5 for 96, which wasn't real good. So hope they improve. We want to make it a bit of a contest. So Phil is on Phil Crow there's on a few of the Facebook pages, and you know, he's a knowledgeable man as well. So there's lots of knowledgeable people on EMs out there, different areas of expertise. Some people, you take guys like Tom Considine from Maryland. He's
a very clever man.
Clever man with art. You know, he does back glasses and that on those old Genko games, and
all the manufacturers you never hear of nowadays.
Yeah, and Mike Weaver, his mate. You know, Mike's a fairly quiet and unassuming gentleman, but he does a great job with restorations, and you know, then you've got other guys like Ken Head in Texas. He's out there. Yeah. Who else have we got? You know. Well, we had that Stephen Van Splinter. I don't know. He had that. He opened up his own arcade in Ephrata in PA there, but he closed it down and he seems to have disappeared. I think a young man had a few issues that he had to deal with. But now we've got these other up-and-coming young guys I mentioned earlier, Gabe Preble, Tanner Walters, and I still can't think of the other guy's name. Of course, we've got older experienced guys like Pat Gallagher, been out there a long, long time. And then up in New York, you've got guys like Dave Matrando, and, there's countless of people,
which is good.
Which is great, you could mention them all. Impossible, I couldn't do it. And it's through the groups that we've got, on Facebook that we're able to connect and communicate with. And like I said earlier, people send messages and this, that and the other thing. And we can only keep doing what we're doing. And as long as we're health-wise, that we're able to do it, that's it. I've mentioned before, I'll be 70 this year. I know there are a few people out there older than that, but as long as you're healthy, you can keep doing it. We will. Yeah. We'll try to. It's a passion. It's a love. Am I coming back to the States? Yeah, hopefully next year. Hopefully. Just hoping that the dollar. Like when I was there last year, we were only getting 61. The Australian dollar was only 61 against the US greenback, and it was damn expensive. I was really lucky last year that I got to stay in San Diego at a private home for 5 days at the start and 5 days at the end of the tour. Saved me a lot of money. I'm so grateful to those people. And I want to come over to the States maybe twice more if I can, as long as I'm healthy. It is expensive, but you get to meet so many wonderful people, and I'd like to alter where I go next time if I can a little bit. We've sort of been to the same places before. I mean, my good friend Will White's trying to talk me into going to what was it just on in May, Lodi Pinball Festival there in California. But I do like York. I really like the White Rose Game Room show. I'm sort of half tempted to go to Allentown, but it's on at a different time. So, once again, you can, I think last year I was in America for almost 6 weeks, just not quite, just under. And, there was more stuff we could have seen. I mean, it was great to get home, but let's see, I spent time on a farm in Rockford, Illinois. I spent time and we got to go to a few private homes, collections, one in Highland, up there in New York, over across the Hudson River from Poughkeepsie. We got to visit Steve Young. I got to visit Dave Matrando, his personal collection there in Highland. We got to Tom Taylor's in New Berlin, Wisconsin. That's fabulous. It's private. We got to go to Clay Harrell's VFW. Very fortunate to be invited back there. We got a guy called Gus Ziesman in PA. We went to his private collection. Where else am I missing? Oh, the piece de resistance was New Pike Arcade, Randy Peck's in California. That's fabulous. It's not open to the public, unfortunately. It's only by invitation, but yeah, it was an honour to go there. So yeah, we've been to a few places, and there's lots of others that we want to go to as well. Hopefully we might be able to get Graham over there, who knows.
Yeah.
But
you never know.
Yeah, we're definitely coming back over. So yeah, if we can get over next year, that'll be great. I've been saving my money. I'm what you call a self-funded retiree. I'm not sure if you use that terminology in America. I guess you do. Which means I don't receive a pension off the government. I don't get any concessions off the government. In other words, I'm self-funded. So my superannuation I live on. So you're relying on the stock market to stay stable. So there you go. So once again, we just are really grateful that people are learning something off us. So that gives us a warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
What more could you want? I mean, yeah, that's fabulous. All right, well, look, let's now take you down to the shed and show you. So what will happen now, the sound quality is going to change a bit because our microphone isn't portable. it's fixed, so I won't be able to take that with us, and I'm just going to have to take this off the gimbal. So just bear with us for a second. There's a new pinball place. Yep, I went there too. That's Pastimes Arcade. Rob Burke set that up, and we were invited to go there way before it opened. And of course, that's Mike Hale. He's the technical director there. Now, there's a great story. There's Mike Hale. He wanted to buy a pinball machine for his dad, which I think was Buckaroo, it might have been, and he sort of looked at all the ads, Craigslist and God knows what, and he comes from PA. Anyway, he found one, and it turns out he bought it off a guy who's a friend of ours, and that's a guy called Knox Patton Jr., and he went and bought this machine for his dad, and Knox Patton Jr. said, you won't stop at one, and Mike Hale thought, no, it's just a gift for Dad. Well, I think that's just over 3 years ago, and yeah, it might have been North Starfield. Yeah, good work. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, and of course, Mike got on to one of the pinball groups, and he was stuck on a few things, and I can remember helping him out. I don't know what it was, a card whiz or something or other, and you know, who was to know that just over a year later, Mike is probably up there now with some of the better people in the mechanical side of things and technical side and fixing games. And he spoke at Pinball Expo 2021, and then we all spoke last year. We collaborated with Mike, myself, and Mark Gibson. So there you go, and that's a great story. So, and Mike's, like, he wouldn't be 50 yet. I don't think he'd be late 40s or goodness knows how. So yeah, that's Pastimes Arcade in Girard, Ohio, and we were also afforded a visit to Rob Burke's warehouse, and my God, wasn't there some stuff there. So Mike's got a couple of guys on board there now, helping, and I met an older guy there. We went out the back. There's a big workshop area out the back. We had carte blanche. We could walk anywhere we wanted to when we were there. It hadn't been opened. It was, we were there the week before, the week of the Chicago Expo. I think we were there on the Monday or the Tuesday. And big workshop area, and there's an old guy out the back, you know, gee, he was fairly elderly. He was late 70s, maybe even early 80s. And his name was John. And he features in the video I did on the Pastimes Arcade, and he appears in it anyway. And apparently, what he did, he worked for a Williams distributor or something like that, way probably back in the 50s, and he was the expert on gun games, electromechanical gun games.
Yeah.
Now that was pretty cool to meet him. So I guess in America, where, it all happened, especially Chicago, where all the machines were manufactured, it was something to behold, and even today, when we were there last year, when we were in Chicago, we jumped in a car and we went to a luncheon with a guy not related to pinball. This was another matter to do with a colleague I went over with, and met a friend of his for lunch, and the guy I went over with, his name's Craig. His kids wanted to see the house where Shameless was made, and so we looked it up and we found it, and we drove there, and it's in a real sort of dingy area. It's on the south side of Chicago. And you walked up to it, and it's a big sign on the front gate. You can come onto the ground and have your photo taken, but you've got to put $10 in the box or something. I said, oh, okay. And anyway, we had a look, we took our photo, and the house next door, which was in the show as well, or 2 doors down or whatever, I can't remember. Anyway, we're just driving along, heading back to Schomburg, to the hotel, and I just looked up and I saw this street, Postner Avenue. I thought, gee, that name rings a bell. I said to Craig, pull over. He said, well, what's up? I said, pull over. I said, I think this is the street where Gottlieb were. So I googled the address where they were in North Costa Avenue, and we had to drive. It took a little bit to get there. Must be a long street. And here we were. We were in. Next minute we were at the old Gottlieb factory, and he took my photo there. And that particular day, I had a Gottlieb shirt on. It had the Gottlieb logo, so that was pretty cool. I was pretty happy about that. So Mike sent me a friend request. I had never heard of him. I thought it was a scam. He thought I might be able to help him with faults. This was 2 years ago when he was still in the education profession. Yeah, well, that's it, Phil. That's exactly. He was a teacher, and also Patrick Baldwin, who works at Pastimes Arcade, was. And then you've got another guy there who I think he was in the Marines. I'm just trying to think of his name at the moment. And at Expo, we all sat down out in the little area they had set aside for their workshop, and we drank a bit of moonshine together, and ate summer sausage that a friend of ours gave us to take on the road with us. So there you go. You meet a lot of friends in the pinball hobby, and you know, I've got friends worldwide now. You know, USA, UK. Where else? France, Germany, you know, and it'd be nice if we could all meet one day, but I don't think it's ever going to be possible. So this is the medium we're going to use. Okay, look, let's now go and take a tour of the goat shed itself, and we'll see what's going on.
There's always something going on.
Yeah, there's always something going on, and we'll show you. Like I said, I'm going to have to disconnect the microphone. I'm going to try and do that easily. And we'll jiggle around a bit. Just turning off the gimbal. Righto. Okay, come with me. Let's go. Well, first of all, we'll take a shot of this from here. Let's turn the camera around for you. Okay, so there's the annex. Now that's just been built out. Like I said, that was an old chook shed. If you just look down there, there's been a little rubble drain made all around the garage. We'll come over here and we'll have a look. There's the door to the goat shed. We're gonna. Yeah. Oh, here's that's lightning ball from 1953. So there you go. That's as old as me. 59, which is the one from 53?
That's the bingo.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Yep, all right. So that's got the sander there. There's still a bit happening here. There's you'll see the sun shining there. Let's just go around here and have a look. Here's the front door. So that's what I mean by a barn-like thing. So sort of, and there's the goat up the top. Overseeing there, everything there. Okay, so that's the side of where we just were, and then we'll show you where we just were. I don't know if anyone's interested, you know. Maybe you don't care. That's fine. You're going to see it anyway. So there it is there. That's like an entertainment area. That's where the Goat Shed World headquarters is now. There's the kitchen area, the barbecue. You can just see the front doors of the bar fridge. It's got a lock on it to keep Spanky out. R2D2 right down the end there, that's the smoker. And then there's a little heater stove on the top there. Coming down here now, let's have a look what we've done in here. Here we go. There's the Goat Shed sign. Alright. Chewy's new. Oh, famous New South Wales beer. So here's this annex. Hey boys, love the channel. See you in September for Pinfest. Dirty Dave from Mackay. Hi Dave. Here's the annex from inside. So all that's happened, the wall's been extended along, and we can fit about, on their end, we can fit about 6 pinball machines in there comfortably. Bit of shelving over here, and this is all the games being painted at the moment. So target pool, fast draw, close encounters, and solar ride. And that's, I emphasise, as an EM solar ride. That's fairly rare.
We've got a helicopter game out the back there, Kim.
Oh yeah, yeah, Whirlybird. See Whirlybird there? That's an ongoing project. We've had that for a long time. Okay, so we were talking about parts earlier on. Like we said, these have got to be sorted out. Okay, Galamede, bye. Thank you for watching. You can see we've got there's the trip bank department up the top, and we've got some of the steppers there. What have we got? Oh, score motors. And then we've got milk crates full of other stuff. There's lots and lots of parts. We've got a big cupboard over here full of stuff. We can't quite get at that at the moment. What else have we got? Up here, this is the new bench. Now this is great. So this is the width of an ordinary office table, and it's got a shelf on it. So what we're going to be able to do, this is going to be where when we've got out in the goat shed itself, we've got a bench. We don't have any room. Now we do. Oh, that's our goat shed.
It's halfway through getting painted.
That's a sort of a sample. That's made of MDF. So it's part like.
And we're just painting it now just to check if the colours are right.
So our resident artist, the lovely Linda, has been doing that. But she's only halfway through. Okay, there's a lot of score reels down there. We have more stuff. We've got transformers. Look, you know, you name it, we've got it.
That's the Aussie ones.
Okay, now let's go and show you something.
We'll have a quick look at this high hand. That one, the first one that was made.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to show you the playfield in a minute, but this is a brand new cabinet that was made for high hand. Now these cabinets are available now, but
yeah, it's brand new from scratch. So.
All done. There it is. Righto. It's currently on those red legs because that's our ones with the wheels on them that we move around. So there you go. We did the motor board. I think a lot of people may have seen this before.
And it's got a repro back glass.
Yeah, it's got a repro black glass, yeah, so it's really good. Oh, that's Beach Club bingo we're working on. So come and have a look at this. Right, all right, we just lost you there. We don't have a real good signal down here in the shed. So there, that's nice. Whatever here. They look nice. Put on there the high scores. It's all good to know that it was made in 1973 by Krinsky and Morrison's artwork and 4950. But how the hell do I get a replay? That's the instruction card. Oh, sorry about those white lines. That's the fluoro light above me. Yeah, so that's nice, isn't it? Oh, now here's something else. We mentioned earlier on. There are the pinball rubbers all in there, all marked and stacked away nicely. So up in the top it says 3/8 mini post, then 7/16, 3/16, 5/16, blah blah blah, and all up rubbers, flipper rubbers. We've got 1-inch flipper rubbers. For the flat tops,
got the rebound
rubbers in there, and wherever they are, and oh, there they are, rebound rubbers. So yeah, all the rubbers are there. That's going to make life easier to get access rubbers and everything. Yeah, we are going to be selling them. Now, don't get excited. They're not are going to be sold overseas, and at the moment they're only going to be sold here locally for pickup. It's just, once again, we're not in the business of, as we mentioned, we're not a business, but they won't be, you know, to get all those rubbers here, they cost $130 US, which equates to just over 200 Australian dollars. So just for postage. So don't come here and expect to buy a rubber for $1. It won't happen. But you know, we have to have them. They're an integral part of the games. And I think over here, there's going to be some parts cabinets eventually put up there. Not too sure when that's going to happen. We've got some sample ones down here. If I can show them to you, I will. God knows who we'll find under there. Yeah, just going to be, there's a couple within there, within each other. So we're going to be doing that. All right. Well, we've been rattling on for an hour now almost. What's it?
Spanky's favourite movie.
Oh yeah, man! It's like the first glimpse into yeah. That's right. It is. Phil, yeah. Phil, did you know the guy that made these in the UK? The apron things? Do you know him? Maybe not. I don't know. But they look very nice. Oh yeah, there's the LED lights up there, and
on the strip under here.
Oh yeah, we had there's LED strips under here.
The bench is an absolute mess.
Yeah, we got
when the builder goes, we're going to go for a whole thing of tidy up.
Yeah, and there are LED lights. I forgot to point that out under there. You can probably realise that by showing you that there are LED lights under there as well. Very flash indeed. So that's pretty much everything that's happening in the goat shed at the moment. Can't really think of much more.
Change every week.
Yeah, it does change every week. You don't know when you're going to get a phone call off somebody, and
actually we got another phone call for a high hand to fix, which is amazing because when you get one, you seem to get two or three more.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone could hear that because, like I said, we've got the external mic. Graham just mentioned we've got a high hand, another one coming in. A guy rang us about, I think, last week, and we said, "Well,
about the fourth this year or something."
Yeah, you can't get rid of them. So we've done a few repair videos on high hands. Okay, well,
yeah, well, time gets along.
So thanks very much for watching. All the very best to everybody. And Spanky says hi. And we'll probably see you all next time. And I'll just remind you, if you haven't, please join our Facebook page. And remember to sign up for our videos. Thanks very much. This has been another Goat Shed presentation.
I missed it.